Hello and welcome. Welcome. It's a little bit late tonight, I know, but this is our second installment in hopefully reading the Ramayana for everyone. Very excited for this tonight. Let's see. I'm gonna clean my glasses quickly. So tonight, we're going to be reading the Ramayana again for the second night in a row. If you weren't here for the first night, I highly recommend that you tune in to check out this amazing story. This is my favorite, probably by far one of my favorite stories in the entire world. I guess when I was younger it used to be The Lion King, but now it's Valmiki's Ramayana. This is a beautiful translation of the Ramayana by Robert P. Goldman and Sally Sutherland Goldman. Let's see who's going live. Oh, it's the Twilight Emporium. I don't want to interrupt this live. How's everybody doing this evening? I was thinking about reading something from the Ramayana. We read some yesterday, and I was going to pull a few cards for us before we get started from the White Light Oracle Guide, or the White Light Oracle book. How is everyone? Hope you're having a grand Wednesday. We're going to have a guest up here in just a moment. He's going to be joining us. How is everyone? Let's see. Yeah, I'll grab some sage really quickly. I'll be right back. Hey, Bhagavan. Hey, Bhagavan. Hey, Bhagavan. Hey. Just trying to get some viewers in here before we begin our reading. Both the cards and of Valmiki's Ramayana. I would like to get that in tonight. So. Thank you, Mother Sage. Cleansing this space. Offering a good, sacred space for everyone who comes and tunes in. Mother Sage. So this is from the White Light Oracle book, or deck. Cards are like a book, though. You can read them like a book. It also comes with a book. Because this deck is fairly new, that helps me figure this out. So, hello Seraphim, thank you so much for the rose. Thank you so much for the rose. Let's see. Definitely come on up here if you're ready.
Hello, hello.
Hey pal, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Let's go. Grand, my friend. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday. That this is divine timing. Let's see. I'd like to pull a card for everyone from the White Light deck. White Light Oracle deck. I feel like they typically just fly out when they're important, so I just shuffle them until Spirit decides to throw one out. How is everyone? Whoa. That was 2. Okay, so that's a first. We usually only get 1. One of these is one I'm familiar with. This is the Beatitude of Sacred Rapture, but I believe this would be the second one. So for right now, let's focus on this one, which is the Sacrament of Extreme Unction. So because we got 2, I guess that means Spirit wants me to read from both of these. So this is 34. 34. 1 second. This message might resonate for quite a few people. It might resonate not just for one specific person, but it might, if you feel it, it's for you, of course. Sacrament of Extreme Unction. I'll show you again. His hands are like up in rapture, and he's just so focused in bliss, his eyes in the heavens, his or her eyes. Your heart knows how to let go so you can find peace. It is time for you to experience spiritual closure. A beautiful new reality is opening up for you. Entering it requires you to release your attachment to the past. You have been inwardly prepping for a powerful rebirth. Now is the time to trust in what is meant for you and move toward it with an open, trusting heart and a peaceful mind. In an ideal world, we would finish our inner work, be completely healed, and check it off the list and move on without any issues from the past intruding into our present life. In a more realistic view, we do our best to muddle through, gaining enough understanding and healing to attain some degree of closure and move on as best we can, flicking off remnants of the past which can arise, even while we are doing our best to let go. In an even more challenging turn of our growth spiral, we may know something has run its course and no longer belongs in our world, and yet have trouble exorcising the past and its pains, confusions, or attachments, so it bleeds through into the present, even though we know it doesn't belong there. To avoid the taint of the past causing unnecessary issues in the present, the Oracle of the Sacrament of Extreme Unction brings powerful spiritual last rites so you can be cleansed and liberated into the fullness of your next phase. In the Catholic tradition, extreme unction is performed at the time of physical passing to cleanse the soul and allow it to gracefully leave the body and enter the afterlife. In the context of this oracle, the symbolic equivalent of the sacrament is the powerful intervention of Spirit to free you from the grip of what has been. It is a liberation from habit and the compelling lure of the familiar. It is divine forgiveness and healing. Extreme unction translates into last anointing. While spiritual grace will be with you always, and blessing is always available to the receptive heart, this oracle wishes to bring to your attention the ending of a particularly stubborn pattern. As it does, you will feel greater freedom and a new lease on life, as if you are being born again within this lifetime. It augurs significant and permanent healing release. As the expression goes, every saint has a past and every sinner a future. This oracle encourages you to embrace your future and let go of the emotional and psychological burdens you have been carrying for yourself and likely for many others, ancestors, and more, for far too long. Sometimes we martyr ourselves to the pain of the past or even attempt to carry the suffering of others, holding it within our hearts as if that can alleviate the burden of another or create healing. All that happens in such instances is that suffering increases. Let yourself off the hook of guilt, shame, or blame. Give yourself permission to acknowledge that all people, including you, have done their best. The universe is offering you a powerful spiritual gift. Your heart knows how to receive it. Let go. There's no turning back. It is time to start anew. It is your time to be happy and free now. The healing process. This is interactive. You guys can participate if you so feel called. Imagine, feel, see, or intend that you are resting within an egg of pure white light. It feels so beautiful, safe, and somehow ancient, familiar, and grounding to be in this egg of light. Allow it to be the right size for you, large enough to feel spacious and close enough so that you feel supported and held. As you rest within this spiritual egg of light, you may see, sense, hear, feel, or recognize at a deep level that sacred words and loving prayers are being said for you. These prayers come from the hearts, minds, and voices of luminous, enlightened higher beings who love you and are looking out for you. These words of blessing permeate the shell of your sacred egg of light. They gently infuse the space in the form of white light, which holds all the colors and all the sacred sounds. They ever so gently touch the top of your head, your eyes, ears, nose, nostril, lips, heart, throat, hands, genitals, base of the spine, and feet. You experience tenderness, unconditional love, peace, and merciful grace, tending to you at an intimate and caring level. Within this egg of light, you can heal. You may see, sense, feel, or recognize that negative energy is expelled from all levels of your being, ejected out of the porous shell of the egg and towards the loving higher beings who know what is needed for such energies to be healed. As you no longer carry these energies, you feel increasingly free. Any shackles around your soul fall away, becoming nothing more than dust before disappearing. You sense the seeds of negative karma being cleansed and dissolving in the light. Rest here for as long as you wish. You are blessed and ready to begin anew. When you are ready, slowly and firmly bring yourself back into the here and now by following the flow of your breath and becoming aware of any sensations on your skin. Ground and hydrate yourself, and you have completed the healing process. That was for the first one, the sacrament of extreme unction. We have a second one, the Beatitude of Sacred Rapture, but like it said, I'm feeling a little thirsty and I think I'm going to grab myself something to drink. Feel free to stick around for that if that interests you. I won't be gone long at all. I step out of frame. Bhagavan, hey, Bhagavan, Kailash Shakti Shiva, Shankara Jai Jai, Kailash Shakti Shiva, Shankara Jai Jai. Lemonade, the drink of alchemists and champions. Alright, let's get into this. Beatitude of Sacred Rapture. This is 29. I've read of this one before. I don't think it's too long. $157. Let your true self be seen. Search for deeper spiritual purpose and opportunity for healing beneath conflict and suffering. If you have been in pain, this oracle brings a message of a joyful breakthrough. Your soul is growing stronger, more able to have faith and wisdom than in judgment or doubt. Commit to your spiritual path and know you are making progress even if things seem more difficult for a time. Know that any such difficulty is part of your healing and that you will successfully move through it. Trust yourself. To feel that you are fully seen, loved, and recognized for who you are honors your true self. To be witnessed in such a state, truly beheld in all of your uniqueness, quirkiness, vulnerability, and strength, is deeply empowering. This is how Spirit sees you. So when you connect with Spirit, you learn to love yourself and others unconditionally and become generous with your forgiveness. You are also less likely to be hoodwinked by ego. You start to see yourself and others at the soul level. When we are beheld, the need to behold arises. We need to bear witness to the sacred, to acknowledge what is true, which means cutting through the fog of illusion, deception, and confusion with the clarifying knife of higher perception. There is quantum power in pure vision. It empowers the viewer and also that which is viewed. Seen from a position of inner spiritual truth, we look below the surface, which has alchemical potency to set healing in motion. What vision of yourself or others do you either cling to or free yourself from? How might your choice either encourage or impede soul awakening? When life is tough, you can admire the courage it takes to grow. There is compliment inherent in being allotted life's challenges. If something big has shown up on someone's path, the universe is basically saying they are enough of a spiritual badass to handle and deal with it. It is a vote of divine confidence. If you or another are battling something, you can choose to feel awe and respect rather than fear and despair. Rapture is a state of intensely pleasurable joy that lifts one into communion with the sublime and the sacred. It is not only a personal experience, but also a transfusion of divine delight into the collective soul of humanity. This is the kind of joy that is generous, soulful, without reason or agenda, and delightfully contagious. It is a wake-up call. It shifts any stubborn clinging to negativity. It refreshes the soul and nourishes the heart. It reminds us that everything is okay. Rapture is the astonishment, the sudden intake of breath, in response to an inner realization of something beautiful and beyond description. It tears us out of our misery and despair and plugs us into an electrical current of enlightenment. That darkness is cleared in an instant. Reminds me of Tattva Masi, thou art that. The Beatitude is a blessing, the highest blessing. The oracle of Beatitude of sacred rapture brings guidance that the beautiful healing truth of spirit is your reality. All else is a nightmarish misuse of imagination by the ego. When you sense spirit at work in your life, totally trustworthy and having your back, you are seeing clearly. When your hopeful heart feels empowered, you are in a zone of truth. Trust in those moments. Recall them whenever you can. Count all your positive moments and wins, no matter how inconsequential they may appear. Every one of them is a precious drop of divine nectar nourishing your heart. Allow yourself to see and be seen, and remember that even in the tremors, trials, and tribulations of human life, you are a radiant soul who is growing ever more luminous through the wisdom, compassion, and strength distilled through those experiences. Look for the light beneath all phenomena, and you shall know the peace and love that is with all beings, always. The healing process, which is interactive, by the way, you can follow along if you wish, is to become present and connect with your heart in a restful and respectful manner. You may do this by lightly resting your hand over your heart and feeling for its presence beneath your hand. Not only as a marvelous physical organ, but also as a spiritual temple of love. As you exhale, your awareness can drop from your head to your heart. As you inhale, your awareness can retreat a little more from the appearances of the outer world. And feel pulled, lovingly and gently, towards the inner magnetic field of the heart. Within the heart, you can see, feel, and become aware of a beautiful eye. It is an eye of light, an eye of protection, an eye of wisdom and non-judgment, of clear vision and spiritual sight. This is not a clinical eye which assesses. It is a compassionate eye which sees the luminous inner reality of the soul and the sacred destiny of all beings. The trapping of opinion and preconceived ideas are like the nets of fishermen. The ocean of love within the heart glides right through them. In the heart there is wisdom and love. There is healing. There is truth and courage. The same love wisdom is in the hearts of all beings. You can imagine it gently stirring, awakening, bringing peace, and making the connection between all beings more conscious. We are not alone. We matter to each other at a deep spiritual level. Let yourself rest beneath the appearances of conflict and separation and pain. Partake of the sacred heart tonic of the all-embracing, all-encompassing love. When you are ready to complete your healing process, slowly emerge by focusing on the sensations of the air or the clothing upon your skin, and ground and hydrate yourself. You have completed your healing process. So with that, I'm going to show you the card again. Let's set in meditation for just a few moments. In silence, just with our breath. Nirvana in Sanskrit means to breathe out. A sigh of relief. And you notice when you breathe out, your breath returns to you. No fighting, no pulling. You can surrender to it. It's a fantastic way to gauge your masculine and feminine energies. See where they're in balance, see where they're not in balance. All right, everyone. We're tuning in tonight to read from the Ramayana, which is a fantastic story, a great Indian epic, probably one of the epicest of all epics. This is actually it's a poem. It's such a famous poem that it's been retold many, many times in many different ways, with the characters being renamed and retold, and changing it slightly each time. The Ramayana is a very beautiful tale of Ram, Sita, Lakshman, and Hanuman, which are Indian deities that are venerated pretty often. Ram is considered the seventh incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu, who is the supreme god according to the Vaishnava tradition. According to the Shivite tradition, it would be Shiva, or according to a Brahman Sampradaya, it would be Brahma. So Valmiki's Ramayana. See, where are we at? I have a little bookmark. We're at Sarga 6 because this is the second night that we've been reading it in the Balakanda, which is the story of the child. I believe that's the title, because Bal in Sanskrit means child. Sarga 6. Dwelling in that city of Ayodhya, let's say a prayer really quick, just for auspiciousness. We got Ganesha behind us, so let's chant to Ganesha really quickly. If anyone, a good easy one for anyone who doesn't know it is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. But I'm going to be singing or saying the Ganesha Stotram, or one of the shlokas, I believe, which is Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada Om. We pray to Ganesha to remove any obstacles tonight in our reading of this beautiful sacred text, and that we may have the most auspicious reading of this text for anyone who needs to be blessed by hearing this tonight. Ashe, Ashe. Dwelling in that city of Ayodhya, King Dasarat ruled the earth, just as powerful Manu once ruled the world. He knew the Vedas and was lord and master of everything. Powerful and gifted with foresight, he was loved by the people of both town and countryside. The master chariot warrior of the Ikavashus performed sacrifices and was devoted to righteousness. He was renowned in the three worlds as a masterful man and royal seer, like one of the great seers. He was mighty and had slain his enemies, yet also had conquered his senses and had many friends. In wealth and accumulated property, he was the equal of Sankra, or Vaishravana, Lord of Wealth, or Vaisravana, Lord of Wealth. True to his vows and ever cultivating the three goals of life, he ruled that splendid city as Indra rules Amaravati. In that great city, men were happy, righteous, and deeply learned. They were truthful and not covetous, for each man was content with his own property. In that most excellent city there was no householder who did not have significant property, who had not accomplished his goals, or who was not possessed of cattle, horses, wealth, and grain. Nowhere in Ayodhya could one find a leecher, a miser, a cruel or unlearned man, or an agnostic. All the men and women conducted themselves in accordance with righteousness, and were self-controlled and joyful. In disposition and conduct they were as pure as the great seers themselves. No one lacked earrings, diadem, and necklace. No one was deprived of pleasures. There was no one who was dirty or whose body lacked for ointments or perfume. There was no one who had unclean food or was ungenerous. There was nobody who did not wear an armlet and a golden breastplate. No one was lacking in either rings or self-control. Nor was there in Ayodhya a single Brahmin who did not kindle the sacred fires, sacrifice and donate thousands in charity. Nor was there anyone who indulged in mixing of the social classes. The Brahmins had subdued their senses and were always devoted to the proper occupation. They were given over to charity and study and were restrained in accepting gifts. There were no agnostics and no liars. There was no one around who was not deeply learned, no one who was envious, incompetent, or ignorant. No one was unhappy, fickle, or troubled. In Ayodhya, one could not find a man or woman lacking in grace or beauty, or anyone who was not devoted to the king. The men of all the social classes, of which the foremost, that of the Brahmins, mixed the fourth worship both gods and guests. They were long-lived, practicing truth and righteousness. The Kshatriyas accepted the Brahmins as their superiors, and the Vaishyas were subservient to the Kshatriyas. The Sudras, devoted to their proper duty, served the other three classes. In short, the city was as well governed by that lord of the Ikvasus as it has been long ago by the wise Manu, foremost of men. Like a cave filled with lions, it was full of fiery warriors, skilled, unyielding, and accomplished in their art. It was full of the finest horses, bred in the regions of Balika, Vanayu, and Kamboja, and the great river, the equals of Hari's steed. It was filled with excitingly powerful running elephants like mountains born in the Vindhya hills and the Himalayas. The city was always full of bull elephants looking like mountains and always in rut. Elephants of the Bhadramgra, please forgive me, Sanskrit's not my first language. Bhadramgraga, Mrigamandra breeds descended from the cosmic elephants Anjana and Vimana. Indeed, its name, Ayodhya, the unassailable, was truly meaningful, even 2 leagues beyond its gates. Thus did the Lord of the earth, Sakra's equal, rule that auspicious and aptly named city, crowded with thousands of men, resplendent with wonderful buildings, its gates filled with firm bolts. So, that's the end of Sarga 6. We're going to continue in Sarga 7 in just a moment. But I thought it was important to mention that we are in a set of Hindu cosmology time that would put us in the Kali Yuga. And this all happened in Ayodhya back in what was, I think, the Satya Yuga. I believe it's how it's pronounced. And it was a time where there was no famine. It was beautiful. Everybody was connected to God. Everybody loved each other. Everybody was happy. There was pleasure all the time. But in Kali Yuga, we have a lot of, darkness and a lot of shadow that we need to confront in order to get back up again. Which the age of Aquarius is dawning new awareness. So we're always moving in the right direction. Sarga 7. That hero had 8 renowned ministers, incorruptible and unswervingly devoted to affairs of state. They were Dursti, Jayanta, Vijaya, and Siddhartha, Arthasadhaka, Asoka, Mantrapala, and Sumantra, who made the 8th. He had also 2 principal sacrificial priests, the foremost of seers, Vashistha and Vamadeva, as well as the other counselors. Great and majestic, learned in the sastras, and steadfast in courage, they were renowned, diligent, and as good as their word. They had acquired power, forbearance, and fame, and always spoke with a smile. They would never utter a false word, whether from anger or for the sake of pleasure or profit. Nothing took place, either in their own realm or abroad, that they didn't know about by means of secret agents, whether it was already accomplished, already taking place, or even merely contemplated. Adept at their duties, they were tested in loyalty so that, if the occasion demanded, they would punish even their own sons. They were busy increasing the treasury and maintaining the army, and would not harm even a hostile man if he had done no wrong. Heroic, unflagging in energy, they put into practice the science of statecraft. They were the constant protectors of all honest inhabitants of the realm. They filled the treasury without injury to the Brahmins and Kshatriyas, and meted out strict punishment only after considering the relative gravity of a man's offense. When all of those honest and like-minded men sat in judgment, there was not a single man in the city or the kingdom who dared to bear false witness. There was no such thing as a wicked man there, or a man who made love to another man's wife. That splendid city indeed, the whole country were at peace. The ministers' garments were fine, their ornaments beautiful, and their conduct impeccable. With the eye of statecraft, they were vigilant on behalf of the welfare of the Lord of men, sensible only of the virtues of their master. They were famed for their courage. They were known everywhere, even in foreign lands, for their resoluteness of mind. Blessed with ministers such as these, possessed of such virtues, the blameless king Dasarat ruled the earth, ever watchful through his secret agents, pleasing his subjects in accordance with righteousness. He found no enemy to be his equal, much less superior to him. Surrounded by devoted, clever, and capable counselors, skilled both in counsel and in strategy, the king achieved a blazing splendor, as does the rising sun, surrounded by its shining rays. That was Sarga 7. Let's see. Sarga 8. But even though the great man knew all the ways of righteousness and reigned in such magnificence, he suffered for lack of a son, for he had no son to carry on his dynasty. And as the great man brooded over this, a thought occurred to him: why do I not perform the Ashvamedha to get a son? Once the wise and righteous king, in consultation with all of his accomplished counselors, had reached the decision that he must sacrifice, he said this to Sumantra, the foremost among them: fetch my Purohita and all my gurus at once. Hearing that, Sumantra, who served as his charioteer, spoke to the king in private. I have heard an ancient story that is told by the sacrificial priests. Long ago, your majesty, in the presence of seers, the holy Sanat Kumara told this tale, which has to do with your acquiring a son. Kasyapa has a son known as Vibhadaka. The later will have a son famed as Rishasringa. Raised entirely in the forest, a sage dwelling only in the woods, that lord among Brahmins will know nothing other than constant obedience to his father. That great man's chastity will be destroyed at that event. Your majesty will become famous among the people, and will long be talked about by Brahmins. But still there will be a time where he shall live only by serving the sacred fire and his renowned father. During that very time, the mighty, valorous, and famous Ramapada will be the king of the Angas. Because of some transgression on the part of that king, there will be a cruel and terrible drought, endangering all creatures. While the drought persists, the king, in distress, will assemble Brahmins advanced in learning, and will say to them: you gentlemen are learned in the ways of righteousness and understand the ways of the world. Prescribe some penance, such I might find expiation. And those Brahmas, masters of the Veda, will say to the protector of the earth: your majesty, you must by some means or other bring Vibhandaka's son here. And protector of the earth, once you had Rashyadringa brought with all due honor, you must with due ceremony and unwavering mind offer him to your daughter Santa. It's Santa. When the king hears their advice, he will begin to consider, by what means can that mighty man be brought here? Yeah, Santa, that's what I thought. It's Santa? Then the wise king, having come to a decision in consultation with his counselors, will dispatch his Purohita and ministers after duly honoring them, and they, hearing the words of the king, will be distressed, and with lowered faces they will entreat with the protector of men. We dare not go, we are afraid of the seer. But afterwards, when they will have thought of a suitable means for accomplishing that purpose, they will say, and we shall bring the Brahmin. There will be no difficulty. And so the king of Anga will bring the seer's sons by means of prostitutes. Santa will be given to him, and the god will cause rain. Rishyasringa, his son-in-law, shall produce sons for you. Thus far I have related the tale told by Sanat Kumara. Dasarat was delighted, and he replied to Samantra, "Tell me exactly how Risna Ringa was brought." Sarga 9. Pressed by the king, Sumantra said these words, "You and your counselors shall hear how they brought Risnaringa." Brahmapada's Purohita and ministers said this to him. "We have devised a flawless plan. Risyasringa is a forest dweller devoted to austerity and study. He is wholly unacquainted with women and the pleasures of the senses. So we shall bring him into the city with pleasant objects of the senses that agitate the thoughts of men. Let it be arranged at once. Let beautiful, richly adorned prostitutes go there. He will receive them with honor, and they will infatuate him in various ways and bring him here." When the king had heard this, he replied to his Purohita, "So be it." His Purohita and counselors then did just as they had said. Upon hearing their instructions, the finest courtesans entered the great forest and stayed near the ashram, trying to catch a glimpse of the seer's steadfast son, who always stayed within it. Wholly content with just his father, he had never ventured outside the ashram from the day of his birth. That ascetic had never seen either a man or woman or any other creature of the city or countryside. But on one occasion, Vivekananda's son happened to come to the place where the women were and saw them, wearing beautiful clothes and singing with sweet voices. All those beautiful young women approached the seer's son and said these words, "Who are you? How do you live, Brahmin? We wish to know. Tell us. Why do you wander alone in this dreadful and deserted forest?" In a sudden feeling of love for these women, with their desirable bodies and their looks such as he had never before seen, the idea came to him there in his forest to tell them about his father. "My father is Vibhandaka, and I am his flesh and blood son. My name Risnya Ringa, and my occupation are well known throughout the world. But you look so lovely. Our ashram is nearby, and there I will do you honor as custom demands." Hearing the words of the seer's son, they all consented. Then they all went with him to see the ashram. When they had arrived, the seer's son received them with honor, saying, "Here is the guest offering. Here is water to wash your feet. Here are our roots and fruits." But although they had accepted his hospitality and were filled with longing, they were fearful of the seer, and so resolved to leave quickly, saying, "We too have excellent fruits, twice-born Brahmin. Bless you. Take some and eat them now." Then they all embraced him joyfully, offering him sweets and various other good things to eat. When the mighty man tasted them, he thought that they were fruits that he, living always in the forest, had never tasted before. Then the women, telling Brahman that they had some religious observance to perform, took their leave. Fearful of his father, they departed on that pretext. But when they all had gone, the twice-born Brahman, the son of Kasyapa, became sick at heart and wandered about in misery. Therefore, the very next day, the mighty man came again to the place where he had seen those charming, richly adorned courtesans. When they saw the Brahmin coming, their hearts were delighted, and they all approached him and said, "Now you must come to our ashram, friend. There the welcome ceremony will be especially lavish." Upon hearing all of them utter these words that went straight to his heart, he resolved to go with them. Thus the women led him away, and even as they were bringing the great Brahmin there, the god suddenly brought rain, refreshing the world. The Lord of Men went humbly out to meet the sage who had come to his kingdom bringing rain. He placed his head on the ground before him, and his thoughts focused. He offered him a propitiatory gift as custom demanded. Then he begged for the favor of the great Brahmin, saying, "Please, do not be angry, Brahmin." Then the king entered the women's quarters, and having given him his daughter Santa according to precept, with tranquil heart he attained happiness. And that is how the mighty Rishnaringa came to dwell there with his wife Santa, gratified with every desirable thing. This is Sarga 10. This might be the last Sarga we read tonight, but if you're enjoying it, please let me know down in the comments and send some likes, you know? But yeah, if you're enjoying it, we might read another 5 more Sargas. So just depending on what you guys are down for tonight. Otherwise, we might just do a few chants and then hop off of here. Hey, Oliver. Just saying hi to everybody. Here. It's on my offering plate. So, hi. Oh. Oliver. So his original name was supposed to be Olive because of all love, all live, the olive. Um, and then we ended up calling him Oliver, and now he's just all over. He's all over the place. He goes wild. Yeah, let me know if you guys are down to hear five more sargas. If not, we'll just go ahead and chant after this last one. But this is Sarga 10. Now listen further, Lord of Kings, to my helpful story, just as that wise descendant of the gods related it. There will be born in the house of Ikvasu, or Ixvaku, a righteous king named Dasarat, majestic and true to his vows. This king will form an alliance with the king of Anga, to whom will be born an illustrious maiden named Santa. The king of Anga will have a son known as Romapada, and the renowned king Dasarat will approach him and say, I have no children, righteous man. Let Santa's husband, with your permission, undertake a sacrifice for me in order to perpetuate my family's lineage. When that wise man hears the king's request and turns it over in his mind, he will lend him Santa's husband who can give him sons. The king will receive that great Brahmin, and free from anxiety, he will undertake his sacrifice with a glad heart. Eager to sacrifice, King Dasarata, Lord of men, who knows the ways of righteousness, will fold his hands in supplication and will beg Risnaringa, that best of twice-born Brahmins, to perform his sacrifice and grant him sons in heaven. And the Lord of the people will obtain his desire from that foremost of twice-born Brahmins. He will have 4 sons, measureless in valor, and famed in all the worlds to perpetuate his line. Thus did the sons of the gods and the holy Lord Sanat Kumara tell the tale long ago in the age of the gods. Now, great king, you must go yourself, tiger among men, with troops and mounts, to bring Risnaringa with great honor. When the king had heard his charioteer's words and secured the permission of Vashista, he set out with his wives and ministers to where that twice-born Brahmin lived. Slowly traversing forest and rivers, he came to the country where that bull among sages dwelt. Arriving there, he immediately saw the seer's son, and the best of twice-born Brahmins shining like fire near Romapada. Then, according to custom, with a glad heart, King Romapada paid King Dasarat with special honor because of their alliance. Romapada told the seer's wise son about their alliance and kingship. Then Risnaringa did honor to Dasarat. Thus, duly honored by King Romapada, King Dasarat, bull among men, stayed with him for 7 or 8 days, and then said this to him, Your Majesty, Lord of the people, let your daughter Santa come to my city with her husband, for a great ceremony is at hand. The king promised that the wise man would go, saying, So be it. He then said these words to the Brahmin, Please go there with your wife. The seer's son consented in turn, saying, So be it, to the king. And so, taking his leave of the king, he set out with his wife. Dasarat and the mighty Romapada cupped their hands reverently to one another, and having embraced each other affectionately, they rejoiced. Once he had taken leave of his friend, the delight of the Raghus set out after dispatching swift messengers to the people of his city, saying, Let the entire city be decorated at once. Hearing that the king was returning, the people of the city were delighted, and carried out all that the king had commanded. Preceded by that bull among twice-born Brahmins, the king entered his beautifully decorated city to the sound of conches and drums. When the people of the city saw the twice-born Brahmin being ushered in and honored by the Lord of men, whose deeds were like those of Indra, they were all delighted. The king had Risnaringa enter the women's quarters after doing him honor in the manner prescribed in the Shastras. Then, by virtue of having brought him, he regarded himself as the one who had already accomplished his purpose. All the women watched the large-eyed Santa arrive in this fashion with her husband, and because of their love for her, they rejoiced. Honored by them, especially by the king, she was delighted and dwelt there with the Brahmin for some time. Let's see if anyone wanted to continue reading. Alright, I think we'll end there tonight. Move that, buddy? We'll end there tonight at Saga 11. So what had happened was we were introduced to King Dasarat and King Dasarat's ritual to have sons. Now there's different versions of this epic. In one of the versions, they receive nectar from the god Vishnu, and in another one, he pleads with a neighboring king's son to father his children. I believe that's what happens. Now, I'm not entirely positive, but we haven't read far enough in, so I'm just guessing. This is my first time reading it too, guys. I've watched a lot and I've read short commentaries on it, but I've never read the full thing. So this is a beautiful thing to be able to share reading this for the first time with you all. I'm very grateful for that. It's an epic that's very near and dear to my heart. It has probably become my favorite story over the last couple of years since I've been introduced to it, and I'm positive I've known it in past lives for hundreds, if not thousands, of lifetimes. I've known the story. I know it. I knew every part of it when I had heard it. It was so. I knew about Hanuman and the leap. I knew about the Chalisa. I knew about him meeting Sita and the ring. Oh, the ring. That we should set with the ring song tonight. How about that? That's one I haven't done. I'm gonna turn the air down in here. It's quite hot. Turn on my only music making machine so we can have some kirtan. Were you just playing your sitar in the background, brother?
Yeah, can you hear it at all?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Keep it up. At least until we start the...
I know two Kirtan songs. I know the Hare Krishna one that goes like Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. You showed me that. You sent me that one. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. The ring song.
Thought much of his credit score.
Forgive the ads. I don't have YouTube Premium yet, but we're working on it. It's 10 seconds, guys.
Download the Money app with your hard work.
Need inspiration?
This is called the Ring Song. It's about Hanuman and the story Ram gives him. Yeah, you can see the cover.
And to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you get.
We're gonna be hoping to read this every night, if not, on the weekdays or something, or the weekends. We're gonna figure it out and we'll schedule it better. I don't know if you can hear it. Hey Connor, let's listen to this right now. You're doing great, buddy. I love your sitar. We're gonna bring it back, okay? We'll bring it back in just a few. I'm gonna move this so you guys can hear this. Can you still hear me? Perfect.
Where did you get that ring?
Where did you get that ring?
Hanuman, tell me where you got that ring. Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, don't you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, don't you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, don't you tell me where you got that ring? Atuma deke jalakapuri men, I didn't see you in my father's kingdom. No, my she was born to be where you got that ring. Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, don't you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, don't you tell me where you got that ring? Nakumadeke Chitrakuta, I didn't see you in the jungle, Chitrakuta, nor among the saints. Tell me where you got that ring. Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Won't you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Won't you tell me where you got that ring? Sabio Janamaria, the Sandiki, hundreds of miles to get across the ocean. How could you ever get across? Won't you tell me how you got that ring? How did you get that ring? How did you get that ring? Won't you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Won't you tell me where you got that ring? Yeah. Yep. What's that? Ring here belongs to my husband. No one can conquer him. Won't you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Won't you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Won't you tell me where you got that ring? Tulasidas Asaragabaki, Tulasidas praise to Hanuman, always live in my heart. Won't you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, would you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, would you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, would you tell me where you got that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Hanuman, would you tell me where you got that ring? Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman. Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jai Bajranga Bali Hanuman. Jaya Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jaya Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jaya Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jaya Bajranga Bali Hanuman. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jaya Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jaya Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jaya Bajranga Bali Hanuman, Jaya Bajranga Bali Hanuman. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram, Jai Siya Ram.
Ashe, Ashe. Is there a specific one you wanted to set with, Connor? Or do you want to play your sitar? Let's go through one. I won't be able to play the drum. It's too late in my apartment complex to be that loud. But let's see. Are you muted? Are you muted, or is it like yeah? Just checking. Dang, I was sweating. I was getting into it. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Well, I know the one that goes. We were just saying, what was the one that was Hare Krishna, or I know the Sri Ram Jai Ram.
We can do whichever you want, dude. What do I do with my hair tie? I thought it was on my hand. It's not anymore. It's over here. We're just worshiping, having a great time. Everybody a sneak peek into our album. Jai Jai Ram. there's a feedback loop, I think, because
I know.
unfortunately every time I try singing, I can't hear you anymore.
As much as I wish that we
Keeps me, yeah, as much as I wish we could.
we're out of sync, that's the problem, you know. It's a shame, but one of these days we'll curtain in real life, so.
Yeah, 100%. We'll make up for it. So for now, we'll just use this, I guess. For context for everybody for the Ring song, if you didn't know the story, and there's a small version here where Krishna Das kind of tells the story. Ram gives Hanuman a ring to give to Sita if he finds her. And when he finds her, he gives her a ring. And she's been separated from her beloved husband for, over a year in a demon king's palace. Nonetheless, she's treated nice, but I mean, she's lamenting the whole time, and she's mourning her husband and missing her husband and fearful, and people are being mistreated around her. She's in a very oppressive place. It's very unhappy. And that ring to Sita was the first sign of everything turning around to her. It was the biggest hope that you could ever imagine just falling into her hands from Hanuman. And then Hanuman appeared befher and said, I am a servant of Rama. I am here to serve you. I'm here to get you out. And she's like, no, we need to save all these people. I must wait for my Lord. And so he goes and terrorizes Lanka, burns it down actually, or sets fire to many of the buildings with his tail. And then returns to Rama, and then they end up crossing the sea, and they have an epic battle. It's super cool. And we're reading this book. We read it tonight. We're going to be reading it every night for the next few weeks or however long it takes. And so just tune in around this time every night. If you see me live, we're going to be reading this book. You can pick up a copy for yourself. It's Valmiki's Ramayana. And I'll play real quick where Krishna Das kind of explains the Ring song. It's very quick, and so you might have to listen carefully.
Game day, I'm here to impress.
Maybe after the ad, but it'll be
some Takis in it, dip some Takis in it, serve some Takis with it, and crunch some Takis in it. The flavors are mixed. I'm bringing the Takis to make it intense.
It's hard to go from holy songs to Taki commercials.
You've got two choices.
Let's go, man.
Close your eyes.
There are worse things.
In the story of the Ramayana, Ram gave Hanuman his ring when the monkey army went out to search for Mother Sita, who had been kidnapped by the demon king. Jumping over the ocean, he found Sita in Lanka, and from the tree above her, he dropped the ring down so she wouldn't be afraid. Recognizing this to be a sign from her husband, in amazement, she picked up the ring and said to Hanuman, "Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Oh, Hanuman, where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Oh, Hanuman, where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring? Where did you get that ring?"
So we already sat with one of those. We'll move to something else tonight. So we've already sat with one of those. But gosh, the joy, it was just so contagious. Wanted to keep it going. Alright. This is Om Dom Durga, chanting to the Divine Feminine, the Shakti, cooled at the base of the spine. Do some Christic breaths. Squeeze. Send it up the spine. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. On the exhale. Yes, yes. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. 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 Mahashakti Devi, Mahashakti Devi, Mahashakti Devi, Mahashakti Devi, Mahashakti Devi, Mahashakti Devi, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. Mahalakshmi Devi, Mahalakshmi Devi, Mahalakshmi Devi, Mahalakshmi Devi, Mahalakshmi Devi, Mahalakshmi Devi, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha, 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 Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. Mahaparvati Devi, Mahaparvati Devi, Mahaparvati Devi, Mahaparvati Devi, Mahaparvati Devi, Mahaparvati Devi, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Mahasaraswati Devi, Mahasaraswati Devi, Mahasaraswati Devi, Mahasaraswati Devi, Mahasaraswati Devi, Mahasaraswati Devi. Om Dam Durgaye Namaha, 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 Om Dam Durgaye, Om Dam Durgaye, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan.
Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. 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 Om Dam Durga, Om Dam Durga, Om Dam Durgaye Namaha. Durga, oh no. Durgaye, Durga. Durgaye, Durga, Durgaye, Durga. Bhavani, Bhavani, Jai Ma, Jai Bhavani. Bhavani means giver of life. Ma, it's obviously Ma. Oh my goodness.
Nature made.
So I plugged up this really quickly,
Take care of you.
without really planning it out, and I unplugged my remote for the TV. So I'm gonna have to go and get my other charger over here. Yep, here we go. Easy enough. Hopefully this ain't too many for the outlet. Got like 4 different chargers in this single thing. It'll be okay. I'm right here. Chant to Ganesha. Yeah, actually, we're gonna move this over here so we get Ganesha in the frame. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Good night, Seraphim. I love you, buddy. If you're not on. Let's see. Peace and love. Pataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha. Sharanam, Sharanam. Ganapati. The remover of obstacles. If anyone wants to learn a mudra for Ganesha, it's a good mudra. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Om 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 Ganesha Sharanam. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha, thank you for a grand reading tonight. Sharanam. The Ramayana. We're going to strive for the Ramayana, actually. Sharanam. Jai Ganesh. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam. Hope you all were blessed with our live tonight. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing these. I really enjoy doing these. Let's see. Blessings to all you guys. I hope you really got something out of this tonight. We might leave out of here with one last chant. Yeah. Just because we're reading the Ramayana, let's do it real quick. Jai Sita Ram by MC Yogi. 'Cause I love MC Yogi. We'll play that. Yeah. It's from his Pilgrimage album. Look at that flute, man. That's like Krishna's flute. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Jai Sitaram.
After the championship, only one thing could stand.
Jai Shri Ram. Try to shine this towards my little painting Murti. Let's see. Jai Shri Ram is Ram, Sita, Lakshman, and Hanuman. Those who don't know. Hare Rama, 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 Sita, Rama, Rama, Rama. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Ram Nam Satya Hai. Ram Nam, which means the name of Ram, Satya Hai. Hare Rama, 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 Sita, Rama, Rama, Rama. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Jai 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 Ram. Jai Hanuman. Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Ram. I love each and every one of you. I hope this live has been able to bless you tonight. I was very grateful to be able to hop on here, share the Ramayana with you, share music with you, share kirtan, share an oracle deck reading. Oop, I just knocked my cards off. But I mean, wow, tonight's been magical, man. I'm so full. I hope you guys have an amazing night. Get some well-needed rest. I will definitely see you in the next video. And as far as the live goes for continuing the Ramayana, I'm going to try to continue this tomorrow. So be sure to tune in for that, probably around 8 to 9 p.m. CST. Central Standard Time. Should be roughly okay. We might start a little earlier because I'm off work tomorrow. Just know that if you want to tune in. And blessings. I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.